Welcome to Hidden America, Babylon Revealed. Today's presentation is called The Horned God Janus, The Origins of the Devil Archetype. This presentation should help connect a few dots for you. I really hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making it. This is definitely some mind-blowing, paradigm-shifting information. Definitely should be a lot of fun. Now, today's presentation, we will reveal the true horned god, the origin of the two-face archetype, the Roman god of Archways in portals, the god of the two keys, the god of duality, Janus, so important that January is named for him, the god of portals and doorways, bringing in the new year every year. We will talk about the origins of the horned god, from the Satyr to Pan and Dionysus and Bacchus, Egyptians Osiris, all the way up to the Jesuits of today, into Cern, the atom smasher, the atom smasher. Cern is opening a portal to another dimension. Janus, the god of portals and gateways, the gates of hell, the angel of the abyss, of the bottomless pit, Addabon, Apolloyon the Destroyer, aka Shiva, and how it all ties to Janus, why he is the hidden god, the elite worship. Janus's mythological motif, the rebus, the divine union of cosmic opposites, male and female, sun and moon, holding the two serpents. Now, Richard Cosero, he calls it the God Self icon. Now, you can find this all over the world in ancient culture, from the Mayans to the Aztecs to the Egyptians. All over the world, you see the similar architecture and archways, portals. In the same motif, you could call it the God Self icon, but it is what Pythagoras called the Y for Janus, the Y chromosome, how the two is split, the male and the female. You find this God Self icon all over the world in ancient cultures. Janus, the hidden god, the horned god. So who is the horned god? The horned god is the supreme deity in paganism and witchcraft. He is the consort of the goddess. He is the representative of the male principle. He is the lord of the woodlands, the hunt and animals, the lord of life, death, and the underworld, the past, the present, and the future. He is the sun, the goddess, the moon. He was born at the winter solstice and unites with the goddess on Beltane on May 1st and dies at the summer solstice. His death is a sacrifice to life. Now, the horned god is where you get your devil archetype of today. The satyr was the earliest incarnation of the horned god. From satyr, you get Satan. Satan meant the adversary. Now, the Bible was always meant to be read allegorically. In the Bible, Satan represents your ego. Now, the satyr is a male nature spirit. He is a lustful, drunken god, a nature deity of fertility. He was half man, half animal. His male companions were Pan or Dionysus. He represents the raw forces of sexual lust and arousal and fertility of nature. Now, Pan, according to Plutarch, was one of the only Greek gods to die, and he was associated with Rhea or Cybele. He was the nature shepherd of mountains, flocks, theater criticism, in the spring season, the god of rebirth and the resurrection of nature. He was merely one of many forms of the horned god. Now, in Wicca, in neo-pagan beliefs, this archetype of the green man is extremely important. It is based on the Celtic Cernunnous or the Indian Parashudi in Pan. Dionysus or Bacchus was the god of harvest, of winemaking, of spirits, of fertility and vegetation, also of insanity, of ritual madness, of religious ecstasy, theater, festivity, the duality. Now, the Greek, he was known as Ichus or Zagorus Zeus. In Roman, it was Bacchus or Liber. Liber means free. In Etruscan, he was known as Forlorn. Now in Egypt, he was known as Osiris, the lord of the underworld. Now he was the god of wine. He had a higher aspect and a lower aspect. Now the grapes were considered a gift of the god. Bacchus or Dionysus was considered a god who spends much of his time on earth, roaming and struggling for acceptance. There was many cults to Dionysus. They were considered the cults of the soul. Now the green man was based off Pan. The green man or woman is a symbol of rebirth and new growth in the cycles that occur each and every spring. He is a nature and vegetation deity or spirit of 3 heads. Now the 3 heads of the green man represent the foliate, which is covered in green leaves, the disgorging, that spews vegetation from his mouth, and the blood-sucking, that spouts vegetation from all orifices, the 3 faces, the 3 aspects, all from Janus. Now, even the pandemic of today goes back to Pan, of pandemic, pandemonic. Now, Wiccans still openly worship the green man to this very day, the horned god. Now there are others that worship Bacchus, Osiris, Dionysus. They are all incarnations of the same god, Janus, the same. The god of many faces, Janus. They are all worshiping the same spirit. Now the first human being, the perfect spiritual being, was androgynous, the Atum. He was neither male nor female. He was above that. This is represented as the rebus. Now Zeus, in a jealous rage of the perfect cosmic divine being, the total order, split the X and the Y, the male and the female. The perfect being was no more. They were kicked out of the garden. The male was the sun. The female was the moon. And Zeus said they would spend eternity searching for their other half. The 2 faces of Janus, before the split and after the split. Before the flood and after the flood. Now, the rebus, or the God Self icon, represents the perfect spiritual being, becoming Adam Kadam. The 2 serpents represent the 2 strands of DNA, the X and the Y, the male and the female, the sun and the moon. This is why you see this icon everywhere, the Janus motif. This is when you transcend duality, transcend your animalistic instincts. Janus, who was none other than Noah of the biblical flood myth. He was the one who rebuilt civilization. He was a giant who became the first Roman emperor. Rome means heaven on earth. His 2-faced coin was used for 200 years. Now, after Noah's death, he was deified as Janus, or Bifron, his demonic form. Now, the secret societies of today are the fertility cults, the nature cults, the serpent cults of the older days. Now, today, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and the Rosicrucians are still trying to usher in the Golden Age. And who is the god of archways and portals? None other than Janus. I mean, we open the new year to him every year. Janus, or better known as Pater, the Revealer, or Saint Peter of the Vatican. Another tribute to Janus, the god of the 2 keys, one for the masculine, the spiritual power, and one for the feminine, his consort, his female aspect, Jana or Sophia, the higher wisdom. One key is gold, the other is silver. This is for the higher and lower mysteries. The 2 keys are also for the summer and the winter solstice. Now, Janus or Jana, Janus or Cybele, Apollo or Artemis, the white sun and the black sun, Jesus and Lucifer, the 2 keys. Janus is often seen with a crown. The 3 crown represents the cosmic union of opposites, the male, the female, and the equilibrium. the sun and the moon. The third pole being the neutral pole, a pure Christ consciousness. This is the pure divine cosmic consciousness. Now, according to the Hebrew Kabbalah system, the top two Sephiroth, the right and the left, correspond to divine attributes. Mercy, which is Chesed, and justice, which is Jabara, the two pillars, Boaz and Joachim. Janus, the master of the two ways, which the great serpent Pythagoras showed as a Y. The so-called Y, or the sun and the moon, or your so-called gods, this is where you get your so-called God self icon, the divine cosmic union of opposites. Janus, the master of two ways. The way of the gods in the Hindu tradition, the Deva and the Yana, the way of the ancestors, the Petri and the Yana, the master of two ways. Janus is the elephant god, Ganesha, to the Hindus. Now, Janus has many faces, many aspects, male and female, usually shown with three faces, one being hidden. The three faces represent the past, the present, and the future. Well, Shiva is the Lord of eternity, the past, the present, and the future. Just another aspect of Janus Diana. Now remember, Princess Diana was sacrificed into a tunnel. The god of Archways. This was a sacrifice to Janus. Janus and Jana and Diana. Diana was the twin of Apollo. Diana was the moon. Apollo the sun. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, the original flood myth, Gilgamesh is the one who sees the unknown. He was the man to whom all things were known. He was wise. He saw mysteries and knew secret things. He brought us a tale before the flood. It was he who saw into the deep. Gilgamesh is none other than an aspect of Janus. Now back to Shiva the Destroyer, another aspect of none other than Janus. Shiva, the Lord of Eternity, the past, the present, the future, the three faces of Janus. The god of destruction, the Lord of meditation, arts, yoga, and time and dance. He also represents the right brain. He was the great among the devas, the gods, the power Abram, the supreme being. He was the masculine, the right side of the brain. The feminine aspect was Parvati, the goddess of fertility, love, beauty, harmony, and marriage, children, and devotion. This is the sun and the moon, the Jana and Janus, the Apollo and Diana, the feminine side, the left side of the brain. Now from this divine union of Shiva and Shakti come the hidden face, Lord Murugan. This is the balance of the brain, the male and the female, the sun and the moon, the cosmic union of opposites. This represents the divine Christ consciousness. Shiva is none other than Apolloyon the Destroyer, Addabon, the angel from the bottomless pit, and it is no surprise that there is an idol of Shiva outside of Cern. Now Cern comes from Cernos, this Celtic god of fertility in animals in the underworld. His worship can be found all over the world in ancient history, in architecture and temples. Cernos is the original great horned god, the consort of the goddess, the symbol of male energy in the divine form. Cernos. It should come as no surprise that Cernos was just another name for Janus, the god of portals and archways, the god of time, of the past, the present, and the future, the god of the two keys. So not only just an idol of Shiva the Destroyer, or Apolloyon the Destroyer, right outside of Cern in Switzerland, it is directly named after Janus, the god of portals and gateways, the god of archways. This was just part 1. In part 2, we'll go much deeper into Cern, the two-faced Jesuits, Donald Trump, and so much more. I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me, guys. This is crazy. It's just a crazy information. It really is. Thank you, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, guys.